The mysterious death of Rick Rude still haunts many. His death story is drug-related, and many questions remain unanswered. If you want to know what went wrong, keep watching the video until the end. Rick Rude, born Richard Irwin Rude on December 7, 1958, in St. Peter, Minnesota, was a professional wrestler known for his impressive physique, charismatic personality, and villainous character. He began his wrestling career in the early 1980s after a brief stint as a bouncer and bodybuilder. Rude's wrestling career took off when he joined World Class Championship Wrestling in Texas, where he gained attention for his arrogant persona and chiseled physique. He then moved on to various regional promotions, including Jim Crockett Promotions and the American Wrestling Association. His big break came when he joined the World Wrestling Federation in 1987. In the WWF, Rick Rude was known as Ravishing Rick Rude, a narcissistic heel villain who would insult the audience while showing off his body. Rude later joined World Championship Wrestling in 1991, where he became a key member of the Dangerous Alliance, a dominant heel faction. He won the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship and continued to be a prominent figure in the company. Unfortunately, his in-ring career was cut short in 1994 due to a severe back injury sustained during a match in Japan. After retiring from active wrestling, Rude briefly returned to WWF as a manager and commentator. He also made appearances in WCW as part of the New World Order faction. Rick Rude's death on April 20, 1999, was a shocking and tragic event in the world of professional wrestling. He passed away at the age of 40 from heart failure in Alpharetta, Georgia. The circumstances surrounding his death have been the subject of much discussion and speculation. Rick Rude was at home when he suffered what was later determined to be heart failure. He had been dealing with various health issues, including the effects of his previous wrestling injuries. Rude had retired from active competition in 1994 after a serious back injury during a match in Japan, but he remained involved in the wrestling industry in non-wrestling roles. At the time of his death, Rude was reportedly preparing for a return to the ring. He had been training intensively to make a comeback, potentially with the then WWF or WCW. This desire to return to wrestling, despite his injuries, may have contributed to the strain on his body. An autopsy later revealed that Rude's death was caused by an overdose of mixed medications, including painkillers and muscle relaxers. These medications were believed to have been prescribed for the chronic pain and injuries he suffered during his wrestling career. The combination of these substances, along with his physical condition, ultimately led to his heart failure. Some within the wrestling community have speculated that Rude's use of anabolic steroids during his wrestling career may have also contributed to his heart issues. Steroid use was common among wrestlers during the 1980s and early 1990s to help maintain their muscular physiques. However, this speculation has never been conclusively proven as a direct cause of his death. Rick Rude's death was a significant loss to the wrestling world. He was remembered as one of the most talented and charismatic performers of his era. His passing highlighted the physical and mental toll that professional wrestling can take on its performers, particularly during a time when the industry was less regulated in terms of health and safety. In the years following his death, Rude was honored by the wrestling community. He was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2017, recognizing his contributions to the industry and his influence on future generations of wrestlers. Rick Rude's death serves as a reminder of the dangers associated with the wrestling business, particularly for those who push their bodies to the limits. Despite his tragic end, Rude's legacy as Ravishing Rick Rude remains a lasting part of wrestling history. Rick Rude began his career in professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Before entering the wrestling world, Rude had been a successful bodybuilder and worked as a bouncer, which helped him develop the powerful physique that would become his trademark in the ring. Rude's professional wrestling career began in 1982 when he debuted in the independent circuit. He quickly made a name for himself due to his impressive build, natural charisma, and in-ring skills. Early in his career, he worked for various regional promotions, including Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling and Georgia Championship Wrestling. During this time, he honed his craft and developed the Ravishing Rick Rude persona, a cocky, arrogant heel villain who flaunted his physique and taunted the audience. Rude's first major breakthrough came in World Class Championship Wrestling in Texas, where he captured the NWA American Heavyweight Championship in 1984. His time in WCCO helped him gain national attention, and he soon moved on to other prominent promotions, including the American Wrestling Association, where he continued to build his reputation as a top heel. Rick Rude's career reached new heights when he joined the World Wrestling Federation in 1987. In the WWF, he fully embraced his ravishing persona, often performing a pre-match routine where he would remove his robe to reveal his chiseled body, much to the delight of female fans and the ire of male fans. He would famously call out a woman from the audience to give her a kiss, further fueling his heel character. Rude quickly rose through the ranks in the WWF, engaging in memorable feuds with some of the company's biggest stars. One of his most notable rivalries was with Jake the Snake Roberts, which was sparked by Rude's inappropriate advances toward Roberts' wife. The feud was intense and highly personal, captivating fans and solidifying Rude as one of the top villains in the company. In 1989, Rude achieved one of the most significant accomplishments of his WWF career by defeating the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania V to win the Intercontinental Championship. This victory marked the peak of his WWF career and showcased his ability to compete at the highest level. In 1991, Rick Rude left the WWF and joined World Championship Wrestling. In WCW, Rude became a central figure in the promotion and aligned himself with Paul E. Dangerously's Dangerous Alliance, a dominant heel faction. He quickly captured the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship and held the title multiple times, establishing himself as one of the top stars in the company. Rude continued to deliver high-quality matches and was involved in notable feuds with top WCW talent, including Sting and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. His run in WCW was marked by his consistency as a performer and his ability to draw heat from the audience. Unfortunately, Rude's in-ring career was abruptly cut short in 1994 when he suffered a severe back injury during a match against Sting in Japan. The injury was serious enough to force Rude into retirement from active competition. On March 6, 2017, it was announced that Rick Rude would be posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a recognition of his significant contributions to professional wrestling and his enduring legacy as one of the sport's most memorable characters. The induction ceremony took place during WrestleMania weekend, and Rick Rude was honored in front of his peers and fans. The induction speech for Rick Rude was delivered by his longtime rival and respected colleague, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Steamboat spoke highly of Rude's in-ring abilities, charisma, and the memorable moments they shared during their careers. He highlighted the intense and classic matches they had, emphasizing the respect and admiration he had for Rude as a performer. Accepting the Hall of Fame induction on behalf of Rick Rude were his children Michelle, Marissa, and Richard Jr. They expressed gratitude for the honor and shared their pride in their father's achievements and the legacy he left behind in the world of professional wrestling. The moment was a fitting tribute to a wrestler who had made a lasting impact on the industry and had captured the hearts of fans with his ravishing persona.